All right, so in the vocabulary startup, it says when addition or subtraction signs separate an algebraic expression into parts, those parts are called terms. So like in this one, we have 3x plus 7 plus x. All three of those are terms. 3x is a term, 7 is a term, x is a term. They're terms. Okay, they're the terms of the expression. Now, when you have terms that have the same variable, like x, or they have the same y, those are called like terms. So in this one, 3x and x are like terms. They share the same variable. They have x. Okay? Now, if a number doesn't have a variable, okay, it's just the number, that is called a constant. All right? So constant is just a number without a variable. It's just a number. All right. And then they have one more up there called a coefficient. So coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So it's a number in front of a letter, basically. All right. So every time you see a number in front of the variable, that's called a coefficient. So we're going to be using these a lot today. So in this one right here, they want you to label them as terms, like terms, and constants. Okay, so this first box here, it's pointing to all three of them. What are those called? All three of them are called what? Terms. Those are the terms of our expression. 4n, 2n, and 9. Those are the terms. Okay, now the next box over here is pointing at just 9. What is that 9 called? What is the 9 called? It doesn't have a variable. It's just the number. What was that called? Aaron? A constant. And then they have an arrows pointing at 4n and 2n. What are those called? So they have the same variable. What are those called when they have the same variable? Violet? Like terms. Okay, so these are our like terms. So now we're going to go down here to the real world link, and it says Andrew's mother gave him a computer game and $10 for his birthday. Okay, so we got computer game and $10. His aunt gave him 2 computer games and $5. The expression x plus 10 plus 2x plus 5, where x represents the cost of each game, can be used to represent Andrew's birthday gifts. So they've given us the expression. Now, number 1 says, what is the coefficient of the term 2x? So what's the coefficient there? What is the coefficient? So all we're looking for is the coefficient for 2x. So go back up and look and see what a coefficient means. So what would be the coefficient of 2x? Aaron? 2. It's the number. So a coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So every time you see a number in front of a variable, that's called the coefficient. Okay, number 2 says, how many terms are in the expression x plus 10 plus 2x plus 5? So how many terms are there? Lucas? Oh, I thought you had your hand up, sorry. How many terms do we have there, Aaron? 4. Okay, so each one of these, so x, 10, 2x, and 5 are terms of the expression, right? So once you have that, go ahead and go on to the next page. So simplify expressions with one variable. So now they're going to give us expressions, okay, and they want you to combine like terms. So what that means is, they give you an expression like this, 4 times 6x. So with these, when you're simplifying expressions like this, okay, with multiplication, it's just like fractions. When we're multiplying fractions, we're not worried if they have the same common denominator or anything like that. We just multiply it out. Same thing for these expressions. With multiplication, we can just multiply these out and not worry about the different the variables. So in this case, we have 4, and then we have 6x in there. When it's multiplication, you can just multiply them out and get your answer. So what is 4 times 6x? What would that be? What is 24x. That's it. Okay, so all you're doing, so with multiplication, it's like fractions. You just multiply them out. Now, let's go over to page 499. So on these, they just want you to simplify them. Now, when it comes to addition and subtraction, you have to have the same variable so you can combine them, like add them or subtract them. Okay, it's like fractions. You can only add and subtract fractions when you have the same number in your denominator. Well, it's same thing for this. As long as they have the same letter, the same variable, you can add them. So in this case, we have x plus 4x plus 6x. Okay, they all have the same variable. They all have x. So we can add these up. Now, like I was telling the last classes, right, this is technically just how many x's are there. It's to show you, they give you that number there to show that there's 6 of those there. So you don't have to do this. Well, we have x plus, we got 4 more x's, x plus x plus x plus x. Well, 6 more x's plus x plus x plus x plus x plus x plus x. Okay, the reasons for coefficients is so you don't have to write these x's out every time. Okay, I know that means there's 1 x there. There's 4 of them there and 6 here. So we can just add those up. So what's x plus 4x plus 6x? How many do we have total now? Aaron? 11, what? 11x. So it's just 11x. That's your answer. Okay, when it's addition like this and they all have the same variable, it just means you add them all up. Now, when it's just 1x there or 1y or whatever it is, okay, there's always a 1 in front of it, okay, because it's showing us there's 1x there. Okay, I don't have to put the 1 because I know just by putting the letter, it means there's 1 there. Now, over here, all of them have coefficients. So we have 3x plus 4x plus 5x. So we just add them all up. They have the same variable. So what do we get? So what's 3x plus 4x plus 5x? Aaron? 12x. That's it. You're done. Okay, number 3, it's 9 times 5x. So now it's multiplication. So now we just multiply it out. It has no rules. We just multiply. So what's 9 times 5x? Lucas? 45x. And that's it. Okay? So why don't you guys go back to page 496, and I want you guys to do A, B, and C. So all you're doing is simplifying these. So if it's multiplication, you just multiply it out. There's no rules. Addition and subtraction, you got to have the common denominators. I'll give you a few minutes, or like fraction come out with common denominators, but the same letter. Okay, now we're going to simplify expressions with 2 variables. Okay, so when you have 2 variables, it's just the same thing. You're looking for common letters, common variables. It's like fractions, common denominators. So if you have x plus y, the only 2 you can combine together are the x and the x. Y is a totally different letter. Okay, you can only do the like terms, the like letters. So like this one, we have 14y plus x plus 22y. What would be our like terms in this one? What are the ones that are alike and that we can combine together? What would be the like terms? Lucas? 14y and 22y. So those are the only ones you can add together. You can't you can't do anything with the x. There's no other x's. So x stays the same, and then you add those, you get 36y. That's it. Now, when you have one like this, remember from last Monday, this is just the distributive property. So you're just multiplying that 4 to both of them. Since it's multiplication, you go ahead and multiply it out. So we're going to skip the factoring part for now. So go back over to page 499. All right, so number 4. So we have 3x plus 8y plus 13x. So what would be our like terms in this one? What are we going to add together? Aaron? 3x and 13x. So I'm going to leave that 8y alone. Plus, now we do 3x plus 13x. 16x. That's it. You're done. All right, number 5. 7 times the parentheses of 3x plus 5y. So since it's multiplication like this, we distribute the 7 out to both of them. Don't forget to do both. So what is 7 times 3x? Lucas? 21x. Plus 7 times 5y. What would be 7 times 5y, Aaron? 35y. That's it. Okay, so just because you have different letters doesn't mean you can't come, you're still multiplying. With the addition, that's where things change. So just keep thinking of your fraction rules. So go back to page 497, and I just want you guys to do E and F. Just E and F. Do not do letter G yet. So go ahead and do E and F real quick. Okay, so we have 3x.
Sorry for the interruption. Mr. Adamson, please report to Ms. J's classroom. Mr. Adamson to Ms. J's classroom. Thank you.
So 3x plus 9y plus 2x. So what would be our like terms there? What are we going to be able to add? What would we be able to add, Violet? 3x and 2x. So we leave that 9y alone. So 9y. And you can write it either way. It doesn't matter because it's addition. Remember, commutative property means you can write it as 5x plus 9y. Or 9y plus 5x. Usually with these, when you don't, if there's one in the middle and you're not messing with it, that's the one you just go ahead and write down first. Okay? But it doesn't matter with addition because no matter what, we're still going to get the same answer. Whatever way you add. Okay, letter F. Now we have 7 times the parentheses of 3x plus y. Okay, so this is multiplication, so we're still multiplying it out. So what would be 7 times 3x? 21x. Plus, what's 7 times y? 7y. And there's your answer. 21x plus 7y. Don't forget to do it to both numbers in the parentheses. It has to be multiplied by the first one and the second one. All right, now we're going to talk about the factoring part. So just like last Monday, factoring means we're just pulling the greatest common factor out and dividing it out. So we have to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 8. So 12x and 8y. What would be the greatest common factor for 12 and 8? What's the biggest number that goes into both of them? Lucas? No, we want greatest. What would be the biggest number that goes into 12 and 8? 4. So 4 is the number that goes outside the parentheses. Okay, we keep the addition. Now, this is when we divide that number out. So 12x divided by 4 would be what? What's 12 divided by 4? 3. So we keep that variable, 3x. 8y divided by 4, 2y. And that's it. That's how you factor. Just like last Monday, just now they have 2 variables thrown at you. Nothing changed. All right, let's go back to page 499 again. We're going to do a couple of these. So number 7, okay, 24x plus 18y. Okay, what would be the greatest common factor that goes into both 24 and 18, the biggest number? Violet? 6. So 6 is the number that goes outside the parentheses. We keep the addition. Now we just divide each of these by 6. What's 24x divided by 6? 4x. Okay, 18y divided by 6. 3y. And you're done. That's how you factor. Just like last Monday. So why don't you guys go ahead and try to do number 8. Go ahead and do number 8. Give you a minute or so. So all you're doing is factoring. So figure out what the... So 16x plus 40y. What would be the greatest common factor for those two, Aaron? 8. So 8 goes outside. Put our parentheses, and I always keep the operation they use, so addition. So now we just divide. 16x divided by 8. What would that be? Anybody? 2x. And then 40y divided by 8 would be what? 5y. That's it. That is your answer. Can't go any further than that. Okay, so that's factoring. All right, now I want to talk about what we're going to be seeing for some story problems here. Okay, so number 11. So a DVD box set includes 3 thriller movies and 2 comedies. So I'm going to go ahead and underline those. 3 thrillers, 2 comedies. So it says use T to represent the cost of the thrillers and use C to represent the cost of the comedies. So they want us to write an expression that represents the total cost for 6 of them. All right, so let's say Violet went to the store. She decided to buy 6 of these DVD box sets. Okay, if she's buying 6 of them, we have to represent that in our expression. To do that, that's where you do that 6 and then your parentheses. Okay, so that's this 6 represents she bought 6 of them. The parentheses represents the 1 DVD box that she bought, like what each one comes with. Okay, so every time she buys one, she gets these with it. So in the DVD box set, you get 3 movies, 3 thriller movies, and 2 comedies. Okay, so if she's buying 3 of the thrillers with this, we don't know the cost of those. That would be 3 times the cost, 3T. Plus, then she's getting 2 comedies. So 2 times C. Okay, so there's your expression. All right, now they want you to solve it out. So to do that, you would do the distributive property. So what's 6 times 3T? 18T. Plus, what's 6 times 2C? 12C. And there's your answer right there. Because once everything's said and done, she's got 18 thriller movies and 12 comedies because each one comes with 3 thrillers, 2 comedies. Okay, so that's how these work. You have to write them out and then solve them. Let's do one more of those. Okay, number 12. So a fall candle gift set has 4 vanilla candles and 6 pumpkin spice candles. They want you to use V for the cost of the vanilla candles and P to represent the cost of the pumpkin candles. And they want to figure it out for a total of 4 sets. So this is just like the last one. So the number that goes outside the parentheses would be what? How many did they buy? 4 of them. 4 sets. So that's the number that goes outside. Now remember that the parentheses represents the 1 set. How many comes in 1? 4 is showing us how many we're going to buy. Okay, so it comes with 4 vanilla candles and 6 pumpkin candles. So the vanilla costs V. So we would show that as 4V plus, then they bought 6 in each, 6 pumpkins by 6P. So there's your expression. Now we have to simplify or solve it basically. So using the distributive property again, we do 4 times 4V, which is what? 16V, plus 4 times 6P, 24P. So these people are going to end up with 16 vanilla candles and 24 pumpkin spice candles because they're buying 4 sets. And in each set, there's 4 vanillas, 6 pumpkins, 10 altogether. All right. So why don't you guys go ahead and try to do number 6 on page 498. So number 6. It's the same setup, basically. So read through it and try to do number 6. So the gift bag from Claire Cosmetics includes 5 bottles of nail polish and 2 tubes of lip gloss. Okay, so P represents the cost of the bottles of nail polish. G is to the cost of the tube of lip gloss. And they want to figure out how much it's going to be for 8 bags. So, how are we going to set this up? What would it look like? What are we going to do first? What do we do first? So, if they're buying a gift bag from Claire's, they want to buy 8 of them. Okay, how are we going to set this up? Lucas? So, 8 goes outside the parentheses. Okay, what's going on the inside of the parentheses? 5P, because there's 5 nail polishes. We don't know how much those cost, but it's 5 times the cost. Plus, what else? 2G, because 2 tubes of lip gloss, and it's times the cost. So now we have our expression. Now we solve it by doing multiplication. So 8 times 5P would be what? 40P. So they end up with 40 nail polishes plus 8 times 2G would be 16G. So 16 tubes of lip gloss. Okay, so there's your answer. Any questions on this? All right, on your homework. Okay, 6Y8. This is where that first page of the lesson would come in handy because you're going to be identifying coefficients, you're going to be identifying terms, and you're going to be identifying constants, okay, and like terms. Then on 6Y18, it's just like these. So you're simplifying them out as far as you can. Okay, so take your time. You got plenty of it. You should be able to finish both of them.